Hello, everyone. I'm here for your Divine Feminine reading. This one's for you, Divine Feminines. I hope you guys are doing well. Holidays are here. You guys are probably going through a lot right now. Some of you that are new to the journey may be smack dab in the middle of dark night of the soul during the holiday seasons, which is very difficult. I know I was going through that during the holiday seasons when I was going through the dark night of the soul. But you guys will get through it. Just lean into it. Try to enjoy time with friends and family if you can. I know sometimes during the dark night of the soul, you just want to isolate, and that's very difficult to do during the holiday season. Your mind is just going berserk during the dark night of the soul. The obsessive thinking is unbelievable. You just don't have any control over it. And it's almost like the more you try to fight it, the worse it gets, right? So I get it, you guys. It's very, very difficult. And for those of you that are in the middle of that, I'm sorry, but you guys will come out of it. And in the long run, I know that you're going to look back on it and recognize it for what it's worth. There is value that is coming from this experience, I promise. A great value. Really, really huge that's going to come from this. But it's like an initiation, right? It's not easy. It's very, very difficult. Very difficult, this initiation process. And you've been initiated by the divine, which is an extraordinary thing, I promise you. So this first card we're going to look at here, and I'm going to have to pause it every once in a while, you guys. I've been very sick. And just like that, I've got a cough every once in a while, and I don't want to do that in your ear. So I'll do my best not to. And I'll, I might pause at awkward times. I don't know for sure if it'll be detectable from your side or not, but if it is, I do apologize. Okay, I have been very, very ill, and I'm starting to feel better. But this sickness was definitely a difficult one to get over. So this first card is your current situation, Divine Feminine. What it is that you're currently going through right now. So for this, we have Four of Cups in the reverse. Okay. So the Four of Cups in the reverse, you've got a new outlook, some direction change in your life. Like where you thought you were going, everything has suddenly been flipped upside down and everything's changing at a very rapid pace for you. It might seem very overwhelming and very confusing as you're going through these changes. And you may feel that you have a whole bunch of options, or you might feel like you don't have enough options, right? Like you may feel like it's just happening to you and you don't really have any control over how it's all taking place. I want you to just take some deep breaths when it comes to this kind of energy and just step into a place of presence and trust and faith that the divine, that higher energy, higher power, source, the universe, God at the core, all knows what's happening in your life and where it is that you need to go. Your mind is going to feel very stressed and overwhelmed because usually the mind is trying to kind of dictate how everything goes and calculate everything and analyze everything. And, that's usually coming from ego-based programming that you've had. But going through an awakening process really tears down that programming. And, because of that, because you're going through so many inner changes, you're going to see tons of changes happening on the outside. It's okay. It's all going to work out for your highest good. And as you get a little further down the path, it's all going to make sense as to why it's happened the way that it does. Don't need to stress. Don't need to worry. I know that's easier said than done, but it's true. And everything is going to work out for you the way that it's meant to. Okay? You're awakening to that higher self. You're stepping back into the truth. The veil is lifting. That's a great way to say it. The veil is lifting. You're going to remember, who you were before you were, whatever your name is, Beth or Andrew or, Kiara or Jennifer, Blake, whatever your name is, right? You're going to remember who you are behind that identity, that spiritual aspect of who you are. It's all coming up to the surface, and it can be very, very scary and overwhelming, but you're going to get to a place where it goes from fear to exhilaration. But that can take a considerable amount of time, okay? So you just got to trust the process. So this next card is, what kind of challenges are you facing? And for this, interestingly, we have 5 of Cups in reverse. Okay, so you're also learning to forgive. You're going through so many changes that you're being forced to let go of a lot. And that's extremely difficult for you right now. You're being pushed into a place of being outside of your comfort zone to a degree that you just feel like you're losing control. Even if you're not normally a controlling person, you have your limitations, you have the boundaries that you feel good in, whether those are necessarily based from something positive or negative. Like if the program that you have is positive or negative programming, which would be, I guess, better said as, does it serve you well or not serve you well? Either way, it's still within your comfort zone. A lot of the things that we experience, like, you guys have kind of heard before, sometimes, if you grew up in an abusive environment, you oftentimes, even though you don't want to be in an abusive environment, you choose to still be with people or partners who are abusive, not because you want to be abused, but because you're subconsciously comfortable in that environment. And anything outside of that, you might, be involved in like self-sabotaging behaviors. And so with all that stuff, like kind of like bubbling up to the surface, this is all about change and getting outside of those comfort zones. And so the reason why I gave you this example is that if it's good or if it's bad programming in your life, all of it's going to change. Everything's shifting and rearranging. And since it's doing that, it's pushing you into this place of feeling like it's the unknown. You don't know what to expect. And that is really probably bringing up a lot of fear-based energy. It happens for a reason, though. It's meant to push you into connection with Source. It's meant to push you into a connection with your higher self, especially your intuition. When you step out into the unknown, that's when you start getting more in tune and in touch with your intuition, your inner guidance system, your inner compass, which is really what you need. That's the awakening of the divine feminine within you, which is really just, it's an extraordinary place to be. Once you kind of get past this, like further down the road, you might look back on this as, like right now, it's scary as heck, right? But later on down the road, you're going to look back at it as like an exhilarating and exciting period of time in your life. You will see it with a fondness. You will look back on the dark night of the soul, strangely with a fondness, because you'll recognize later on the gifts that it brought to you. You just can't, it's hard to see that in the moment when you're in it. And that's okay. That's okay. You'll see wherever you're at, like those of you that are in your journey right now that are further down the road are going to resonate with what I just said. You're going to be like, yep, that's exactly true. Those of you that are just beginning or just starting out or still smack dab in the middle of the dark night of the soul, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, how could I ever possibly be grateful for this experience? It's awful. So I know I didn't want to hear that. When I would hear that from twin flames that were further in their path, I'd kind of rebel against that a little bit when I was early on. It actually kind of made me a little bit angry. So if you're feeling that way, just know it's normal. And eventually you're going to get to a place where you feel so much better. So much better. All right, so this next card is, what is it that you need to focus on? Sorry, I'm just checking to make sure my microphone is working here. What is it that you need to focus on? All right. Excuse me, you guys. For this, we have 3 of Wands. Okay, so with 3 of Wands, you've got people around you, like a system that you can network with, friends, family, people that you work with maybe, or even more so, I want you to know that as you go through this massive transition, Source is going to send you the right people at the right time. I see this card as symbolizing the synchronicities that are going to be continuing to cross your path. You're going to get more and more in touch with these synchronicities. They're going to mean more and more. They're going to connect the dots. And with each synchronicity that comes through, you're going to get more and more of a clear picture. Think of it like a puzzle. Right now, you're getting a lot of synchronicities and you're building a frame around the puzzle, right? When we do a puzzle, we always start with the outer frame. It's easy to see those puzzle pieces. They all have a flat edge. And so we can kind of pick those out and start, the frame. And then after that, we start building in toward the center from that outer frame. Your spiritual journey is like that. Okay, and that's what you're on right now, is a spiritual journey. You met your twin flame. It's awakened something within you. You know that you're going through it, but it's all crazy. It's all new. That's just the foundation that's being built, okay? It's creating that frame. And then the more synchronicities and experiences that you have and people that come in at just the right divine timing, or that message that comes to you, or the dream that you have, or, even sometimes it can be commercials or books or YouTube videos, or like a certain type of mentor that shows up in your life at just the right time. That's all happening to give you little tiny pieces of the puzzle. And eventually it's going to spiral you toward the center of completing that big picture, where you really step into your authentic power, your truth of who you really are as the individual soul that you are. That's a wonderful card for you guys. Okay, that's what you want to focus on. That's where you want to put your energy. Take it off of your divine masculine and put it on your spiritual journey. All right, your past and what you're leaving behind. Okay, let's see here. What's going on? All right, we've got 5 of coins in the reverse. So maybe you've transitioned from a job. You may have moved recently. Whatever you're going through right now, it's taking you to a place of recovery. Maybe you've left a job. Maybe you've left a relationship recently. Maybe you've had to relocate to a new state. Like I said, maybe you've moved to a new house or location. Maybe you've even started into some type of new relationships. Whatever's going on right now, it's all being set up, like these changes, these massive changes that are taking place are, again, all for your highest good. It's putting you in alignment with your path, with your journey, the one that you're meant to be on, what you're meant to bring into this world. So don't be fearful. Just let those things go. Let those changes take place. And just remember, even in the moments when they're scary, just tell yourself, this is for a higher purpose and for a reason. You can talk to that, higher source within you. Some people call it prayer. Some people do it through meditation. Even just self-talk, like talking to yourself. You're talking to your higher self. You are the higher self. You're transitioning from thinking of yourself as the little me, the the identity, the avatar, into stepping into the soul while you listen to the avatar talk with you. Okay. At first you start out as identifying as the avatar. Then you start to recognize that you are the energy behind it, the source behind it. Okay, and that's a process that this journey is going to take you through. Of course, if you want to learn more about it, please reach out to us. We have group calls and one-on-ones. We will have a course coming out at some point. But we would love the opportunity to help you with that. Okay, so this next card is, what are your strengths? What kinds of things do you already have right now that are aiding you on your path and your journey? That you've already kind of, cultivated as far as tools in your tool chest, right? So for this, we have Page of Hedgehogs, which is Page of Coins, sorry, in reverse. So you probably had some difficulties when you were growing up as a child. Things that have happened to you on your path that actually they were difficult to go through at the time, but they set you up for success for what you're going through right now. Some of those things might be coming up like as triggers, but a lot of this stuff that you've already been through has given you thick skin. It's given you the ability to be able to deal with things that maybe might like crush others. It doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt you, and it doesn't mean that it doesn't cause you pain in the moment, but you know how to navigate your way through because of these difficult things that you've been through in the past. It could have been maybe that you were bullied in school. It could have been that you had issues with, some friendships. Maybe you had some past relationships that were very difficult. Maybe family relationships, things with your parents or other siblings. It may even be that you had some difficulties with your children along the way. But these things have set you up to give you experience to know how to handle what you're going through right now with your spiritual awakening. If you really stop and think about it, everything that, like we talk about that moment of spiritual awakening, like, oh my gosh, I've gone through a spiritual awakening, right? We try to pinpoint down like when that happened. And oftentimes we point toward a period of time where we probably experienced a Kundalini awakening. However, you've been on your spiritual journey forever because you are the spirit having the journey. You are the soul having the journey, even probably prior to this lifetime. However, from the moment that you were born, everything that you've experienced has all been part of your path. It doesn't just start from the moment that you have your spiritual awakening that you're on your path. You were on it before. It's just you've become consciously aware of the fact that you're on this path now, whereas before you were not consciously aware of it. So these things are there and have happened to you all leading up to this moment. So feel free to lean into those strengths that you have, okay? And don't be like embarrassed or shy about it. Like, it's okay, to be humble, but it's also okay to recognize the strengths that you do have and to give yourself credit for what you've survived through already and what it's been able to teach you. Okay, so this next card is near future. What can you expect, Divine Feminine, going into this near future? Okay, where is it kind of maybe potentially leading you to right now? And for this, we have Knight of Coins. You are a reliable person, patient, and you are very hardworking. And because of that, you are going to attract people that are very similar to you. The things that you've struggled with before in the past are the things that, again, have given you strength. Some of that is still lingering, though. Maybe there's some traumas and some things that you've experienced that you're overcoming. This journey is going to lead you beyond that, right? Where you're going to be able to alchemize and transmute the things that have held you back in the past and turn them into strengths that are going to catapult you forward in your future. There are big things ahead for you, right? Like This guy, he's carrying what looks like a broom, but you could almost look at that like as like a backpack, right? Like he's carrying a backpack, an old school backpack. He's going on a journey. He's also climbing up a ladder, which means steps toward a higher goal. All of this stuff is taking you to where you have always been meant to go. You're bringing into this universe something that nobody else can. And everything on this journey is, you know, pushing you in that direction. Even when it feels like you're off the path, right? You really, really are not. You're on the path, okay? As soon as you feel like you're not, as soon as you feel like you're messing everything up, I want you to tell yourself, this means I'm just on the path. There's something I'm meant to learn right now, okay? You're never off your path. And you're never going backward. Even when your mind tries to tell you that you are, you're actually going forward. It's always progress, okay? Even when you're making a mistake, because there's really no such thing as mistakes. All right, advice. Advice from your higher self, from source, from God, okay? All right, so for this, we have death in reverse, okay? So in this deck, since this is Alice in Wonderland deck, it's transformation, but it's about the death card, right? So that's what it equals out to. As far as, you know, which card it's, you know, meant to represent. So it's just a little different than some of my other decks. But this is for death in reverse, okay? So the advice that Source is giving you right now is that when you are on this journey, there's going to be periods of time where you feel stagnant, where you feel like, you know, what's the point? Things are going to feel meaningless to you. You're going to have kind of a feeling of just apathy, of like, I just don't care. I don't want to be involved. I don't want to get up in the morning. I don't see what the point of all of this is. Where is it leading me to? It's going to feel like you're stuck sometimes. Like you're going to honestly feel stuck. It's going to come up for you over and over again. And Source wants you to know that you're never stuck, that you're always being guided on your path. That even when you feel stuck, you're not stuck. That's part of the process, is to learn from those moments. See what it's trying to teach you. There's value in feeling stuck. Like, where is it coming from? Why do you have these patterns? You know, ask yourself these questions in these moments where you feel like you're trying to escape a certain energy, or you're feeling like, I shouldn't be having this kind of energy. You telling yourself that you shouldn't be having this kind of energy doesn't mean that you shouldn't be having this kind of energy. It's there for a reason. It's showing up on your journey and on your path for a reason. So let it teach you what it's meant to teach you. Sometimes you can reach out to teachers to find out, like, you know, get some advice on why you're experiencing the things you're experiencing. You can go into therapy sometimes for these things. A lot of stuff is going to come to the surface when you're on this journey. It's so normal. It's part of the process, okay? You don't go through enlightenment and it's like one day, the next day, everything's like, you know, you go from like, you know, fear and having all these patterns to like the very next day just waking up and being like, oh, everything's wonderful now. Like, that's not how the spiritual awakening process happens. There is a process and a journey of healing that takes place. And anyone that tells you differently, that's wrong. There is a transition that you have to go through. It's going from being the caterpillar to becoming the butterfly. And when the caterpillar becomes a butterfly, they don't just go to sleep one night and wake up the next morning and become a butterfly. They're not transformed in this, you know, overnight. There is a cocoon period, a cocoon phase that the caterpillar must go through in order to transition into or transform into the butterfly. And you're in that cocoon phase right now. So be patient with yourself. As everything breaks down, just know it's going to be built back up into something far more accurate to who you truly are. Your talents, your gifts, what you're meant to bring into the world, these passions and these desires are going to be at the forefront of your journey now rather than on the back burner. Okay, so trust the process. That's what Source wants you to know. Okay, so environment. Let's look at your environment. All right, so for this we have 9 of Cups in reverse. You may be feeling just somewhat lethargic at times. Or maybe you're surrounded by a lot of people that just don't have motivation. You might be looking for quick results, or you may be around people that are just looking to get something from you quickly and then they back out. It's probably a mixture of both to a degree, because who we spend a lot of time with has a huge impact and effect on who we are. So the environment that you've been around may have conditioned you to not feel like you are at your healthiest. It could be that you want to lose some weight. It could be that you want to start eating better and you don't feel like you have been for a long time. It could be that you're, feeling like your finances are not always exactly where you want them to be. There's a lot of things in your environment that might feel like they have been weighing you down or are out of whack. And it could be that a lot of the people that you've been surrounding yourself around, maybe even the job that you've been having, they're not in alignment with who you really want to be. And I think that it's okay to recognize that it is okay to let that stuff go. You do not have to continue to keep giving your energy to things that are not serving you for your highest good, toward whatever it is that your bullseye is, okay? And maybe, that might be part of it. Maybe you're not focused on your bullseye where you really want to go in life because, maybe you don't feel like you deserve that. Or maybe you've never really spent the time. You just kind of always done what you've been told, this is the kind of person that you are. This is what you're good at. This is what you're not good at. And you've just kind of believed that. But now it's time for you to really look at what it is that you actually want so that you can start cultivating, the process of like becoming in alignment with that by just knowing what it is. Oftentimes when we really stop and think about what do we want, we don't even know what we want. Or maybe we have kind of an idea, but it's sort of like fragmented and kind of all over the place. Take some time to figure out what it is that you really want, where you want your life to go, and then start saying no to everything and every distraction around you that isn't in alignment with what it is that you want to bring into this world. Okay, you're a powerful creator. Whether you recognize that yet or not, you are. And what you create with is your time and your energy, your attention, what you put your focus on, okay? I guess time is kind of an illusion. Really, it's about where you put your focus and your energy. Okay, if you're putting it toward negative things, you manifest negative things. If you're putting it toward positive things, you manifest positive things. And again, that's still subjective, right? It's subjective to the individual. But focus in on what it is that you actually want, okay? So that you can get there, all right? And then if anything distracts you for a period of time, don't worry about it. It's fine. It's there. It happened on your path for a reason. It didn't mean that you went off your path. It just means that you had to look at that and experience that so that you could become more in alignment with what you want. That's why I always say the universe gives us what we need before it can give us what we want. Because if there's anything that's out of alignment, it's going to show up in our path as experience, and we're going to give our attention to it inadvertently until we realize that it's not in alignment with what we want. And knowing what we don't want is just as important as knowing what we do want. So that's the way that things kind of manifest along our path. So hopes and fears. What are your hopes and fears? For this, we have the Fool in reverse. So you don't want to be careless. You don't want to feel feelings of apathy anymore. That's come up a lot during this reading. You don't want to feel like you're unprepared and not showing up, right? There's probably a lot of guilt and shame that you're dealing with, and a lot of poor self-esteem stuff that's going on that's preventing you from really focusing your energy in the right place. I want you to start ignoring those thoughts and replacing them with affirmations, right? What we believe in The energy that we send out to the frequency comes from what we believe in. That's where we put our attention. If we believe we're not good enough, we're sending a signal into the field, into the universe, that we're not good enough. And the universe, it's like in like Star Wars, right? Everybody's using the Force, whether they're on like, you know, they're doing it for the power of good or the power of evil. And the Force doesn't care. It's just the Force, right? It serves whether you're on the light side or the dark side, either way, without any kind of judgment. It's just an energy pool. And it's the individual that uses the source, or the force, same thing, right? In the way that they want. So you can either, create through darkness, or you can create from light. Okay. And so I'm sure all of your goals is to create from light. And when we give our attention to thoughts like, I'm not good enough or cool enough or smart enough or handsome enough or pretty enough or whatever it is that we tell ourselves, then we are creating from that darkness. And we give our attention to it. It's as simple as that. Switching gear, even though it feels weird, fake it till you make it, right? Be the change that you want to see in the world. Tell yourself a different story until it resonates with you. Okay? You are special. You are not like anyone else. And you are exactly what the universe needed, or you wouldn't be here. The universe doesn't make mistakes. Not a mistake, right? You have something special, and that's being built right now. That frame is being built, and you're moving toward that center, the bullseye, the goal, the center of who you truly are. Okay? Believe in yourself. I believe in you. I absolutely believe in you. I know that, outside of any false belief and veil that you're living underneath, there is something extraordinary and divine within you. And I'm here to help you in any way I can. All right, potential outcome. Wheel of Fortune in reverse. So, you are probably going to experience quite a bit on your journey as you continue to move toward that center. You might feel along the way like you backslide or, excuse me. So sorry, you guys. You might feel like you're getting hit with like waves of bad luck. You may feel again like, you start to gain some traction and then everything slips out from underneath you and you're out of control again. You're going to feel a lot of oscillations and ebbs and flows on your journey. But with each one of those, I want you to remember that there's value on both sides of the coin. This is how you transmute even the negative things or the dark things into the light, okay? Everything, the darkness serves the light even when the darkness doesn't know it. Okay, and that's because you as the magician, you as the alchemist, you as the co-creator with the universe have the ability to turn lead into gold. Okay, you can take those things that are negative and you can transform them and learn what you're supposed to learn and then make it a positive outcome for yourself. Okay, so let the ebbs and flows and the oscillations teach you what you need on your journey. There's no such thing as chance. There's no such thing as coincidence. Everything is showing up on your journey for a reason. Okay? I promise you it is. And only you can discern that. The omens that show up for you on your path are not going to be the same for me. Now, you might meet some people that have similar ones to you, but they're not going to be the same. They're specially tailored just for you. The universe is communicating to you through this journey, okay? It's communicating to you. You're that special. Yes, you are. Everyone is, really, right, at the core, right? We're not more special than anyone else. Why? Because we're all special. And that's how we reconcile opposites. Collapse the dualistic paradigm, right? All right, so here you go. Here's your oracle card. Now, if you guys are interested in one-on-ones, or if you are interested in signing up for group coaching calls, you can find all of that information in the description box below. I also do personal tarot readings, 30, 60, 90-minute, and also 2-hour, like one-on-one, live Zoom tarot readings as well. If you want to meet me face-to-face and have kind of a combination of both. It's a 2-hour interaction with me. So there is a discount code in the description box below, and I'd love the opportunity to work with you on your journey. It would be my honor, okay? All right, so here is your card today. We have 11. And oh, speaking of which, I want to give you your numerology number today. And so for this, we have 42, 6, 24, or 4 and 2. Okay, so those are your numerology numbers today. All right, so balancing act, which I'm not surprised this has come up for you on this reading today, because we've talked a lot about balance today. All right, you are calm within, no matter the fluctuation of outer conditions. Something that I saw a lot on my early parts of my journey, I kept seeing a vision of like a hurricane when I was trying to figure out what presence was. And Source kept showing me the vision of a hurricane. I just kept seeing it in my mind, right? And I came to this realization through a conversation with someone else when I was trying to help them, give them advice. Suddenly there was like meaning to that, which was I was trying to kind of help them through a difficult thing. And I said, be like a hurricane, be the center of the storm. While the storm is raging and crazy around you, be the center, because at the center of a hurricane, there is always a calm center. The eye of the storm is always calm and collected. And the hurricane that's raging around it, it's completely surrounded by this raging, ferocious hurricane that's like a kaleidoscope. It's constantly shifting and changing. It never looks the same. It seems unpredictable. However, no matter how ferocious and crazy that storm is around the center is always untouchable. No matter how hard the hurricane, storm around it tries to get to the center, it cannot touch the center. It's completely untouchable, which is like your soul, right? Your perfect, untouchable, unflawed soul. You have the crazy chaos of the world happening around you, the crazy chaos of your journey as a divine feminine, the crazy chaos of everything and everyone and all the kaleidoscope of life happening around you. But when you get in touch with the center and the truth of who you are, and when you're present with that, the storm can rage around you all at once. You always remain calm and collected in the middle. Okay? And so I like this because you are calm within no matter the fluctuation of outer conditions. It reminds me very much of that. And if you think about it, that's like a bullseye, right? I talk a lot about the bullseye, the center point, which is the symbol of God, right? And the universe, and that's a circumpoint, which is a circle with a dot in the center. There's so many different references to that, but they're all really pointing toward the same thing. Don't be caught in the outside storm. Identify with the center, the truth of who you are, and then just witness and watch the storm. Be present and witness the storm. Okay? So there are times when things seem a bit topsy-turvy and it feels as if you're juggling 1,000 balls in the air. Perhaps you're unsure of your footing. Now is the moment to evaluate which areas of your life need balance and then restore equilibrium. Choose harmony over discord, and great success will be yours. You'll find inner stability when you choose a balanced, focused, and level path. This isn't a time when it's important to address the areas of your life where there is discord. This is a time when it's important to address the areas of your life where there is discord. Are you fixated on getting your own way? Are you obsessed with one thing, neglecting essential matters that require your attention? Taking your own inventory is a necessary step toward rebalancing your life. and it's the only way to reach an equitable solution. Adjust yourself to the conditions of your environment that you have no control over, and balance will come much more easily. If there is to be fairness, it must come from you. And I want you to do that without judgment, okay? When you're the witness in the center, okay, and you're looking at this crazy raging storm around you, right? I want you to remember you are not the storm. You are the center. So no matter what you've done, no matter what mistakes you think you're making, no matter how things are turning out, first of all, it's a kaleidoscope, and just like a storm, one second to the next, and nothing's ever going to look the same. And that's how your life is. What's happening now is going to be different tomorrow. All right, so this too shall pass. But also don't allow yourself to become attached to and identify to any part of your journey. Okay, you are experiencing it. It's happening for you. And it's unveiling things to you. However, you are that untouched divine aspect within, that no matter what happens, no matter what you've experienced, no matter what's happened to you, no matter what you've done in the past that you may have regrets over, it doesn't identify and define who you are. All right? That part of you is untouchable. It always remains pure. Okay? You just experience good and evil. You are not good or evil. You are the pure essence within. You're just experiencing duality right now to learn from it. So allow yourself to learn those lessons and don't hold on to guilt, shame, or fear. Those things are things you can transcend. Okay, once you're able to look past your own ego, then it gets a lot easier to look past the egos of others. So I hope you guys enjoyed this reading. Thank you so much for suffering through my scratchy voice. I apologize for it. I really appreciate and value so much your support of our channel. And I look forward to doing another reading for you guys soon. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye. Oh, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Very much appreciate the support. Thanks, guys. Bye.